Hey guys, Saka here, and this is another Kerbal Space Program video. We got Seabury and Billy Bobton ready to lift off, so standard practice, we will see you at the launch pad. And here we go, throttling up. Looks like Seabury's ready to go in that command seat, in the hitchhiker can, and Billy Bobton's our pilot for this mission. Another night launch with the Soyuz capsule, and we're bringing up the second part to the space station, so we'll see you in orbit. Alright, adding a maneuver node. We're going to apply delta V and see where we intersect this guy, and then rotate around to adjust our firing time. I bet it's going to be somewhere over here. Indeed it is. Just some fine tuning. And there we go. Okay, rotate to get a better view. A little later firing time brings us 8 kilometers. There's 13. We went too far. But no worries, 8 kilometers is what we need to get the job done. Okay guys, ready to do our burn towards the space station. This should get us within 8,000 meters or so, which we can start our braking and parking orbit, and then fly towards it as standard practice. There's a look at the sun and the moon and the stars and our solar panels keeping our electric charge nice and full. This part of the space station will attach to that four-way port right next to our previous section. And then we'll have 3 more parts to attach to that four-way. So this will be a sideways heavy station, but maneuvering will be difficult with solar panels, but the next space station part will solve that, as I'm going to launch a remote robot that can do our maneuvers and adjust our solar panels for us. So we're coming in under the space station now. Once we get closer to that 8 kilometer mark, we will start our parking burn. Just like that, bringing our target speed down to 0. Once it's at 0, we can just point our nose at the space station and fly towards it and get it there. And that's the easy part. The next part will be tougher, maneuvering our spacecraft to where our nose is pointing directly at the port that we want to seat this section into. Before, it was just bringing up a section of the station, and then there was only really one place to go. Now there's solar panels extended and other hazards we have to deal with, but I'll get back with you once we get closer to the station. Coming in at under a kilometer now, 700 meters. At 30 meters a second, it shouldn't take long to park. In fact, I probably burned too early there, but better to be early and park a little further away than blow past it and have to spend a lot of time burning back towards it. Pointing my nose towards the station now, we can see all those solar panels illuminated in the sunlight, and we have a pretty good approach. So luckily we're not doing this on the dark side where we can't really see anything. Docking should go smooth as long as I can see where we're going to put this thing. But now it's a slow, steady burn towards the station, so I'll get back with you once we get a little bit more closer. Here we go, about 100 meters away, and the first step is to orientate myself to where I see my port, and then we have to use translation to get our rocket pointed towards that port in a straight fashion. It's very important not to select the docking node and then just burn straight towards it, because if the node is pointed away from you, you're still going towards it, but the entity itself and not the actual docking port. Sort of like you're burning towards where the port is in space and not ready for dock. but a nice 3 meter a second approach. We can see that four-way port at the top, and that's my destination. I'm going to park this on that right side, right above that solar panel. Make sure to control from my front nose. That way the nav ball is reflected accurately. And then once I can get a little closer and can select that docking port, then that will also reflect on the nav ball. And then it's just a matter of pointing my nose towards it and making sure that it is flush with mine. 16 meters, and we can see that back sail fin. And there we go, it's selected. So now it's the tough part. What I'll try to do is park to where I'm on that plane with those solar panels, and then just or translate up and get myself pointed right at it. This is delicate, finicky maneuvering, and I make the mistake, and at this point I don't have a remote control probe attached to this space station, and the hitchhiker pods do not act as a command pod, so they do not have the ability in that space station to retract that solar panel, which would make this a whole lot easier. Luckily, in the next mission, I bring up a pod that does have a probe, so I can retract those solar panels for the next sections if need be. So I'm floundering around and right-clicking and seeing maybe if the game is messed up, but this was completely my fault. So when you have a space station, just make sure that the probe is attached to one of your vehicles. It seems like my biggest battle for this docking is the camera. It's good to keep it in chase as standard docking goes, but still it's tough to see where your nose is in relation to the solar panels. So this, deciding to roll to see if I can see a better angle. It looks like I'll have to back up and then translate down the side. But here we go, firing RCS thrusters downward to get my spacecraft momentum towards that port, and then I can sort of rotate towards it and then stop my movement whenever the pink marker goes right there in the center of the nav ball. With the station orientated on the horizon, those docking ports are going to be directly on the horizon at the 90 and 270, or directly above and below, right in the center of the blue and the center of the brown, thanks to the orientation maneuver I did with the previous craft. And this is, I think I'm actually hitting the solar panel, and there goes mirror spinning, and I'm like, crap. So in that instance, now I'm trying to hit a moving target. So I'll have to stop this maneuver, or stop the movement of the space station so it doesn't hit me. At least it's rotating on that axis so I can get level with it. And then once I stop the rotation, I can just pull forward. But this is the important part about making sure that you can retract the solar panels of the space station. But here we go, just use time acceleration to stop it. And I'm pretty close. I'm going to, as it is now, the left side of that tail fin solar panel. So I'm pointed practically at the part that I need. I just can't retract those solar panels because I don't have a control probe on it yet at this point. So that's going to make docking a little bit more tough. But selecting that part as my target, now it's practically in front of me, and I can use the translation to bring my spacecraft back down towards the port. Just more delicate maneuvering, not trying to get that forward marker directly in the pink. The bad thing is I'll need a little bit forward thrust to get some momentum, and then that's going to close my distance to the space station. And I don't want to do that too quickly because I'm not set as of yet. But here we go, using translation, getting it around the pink ball, and now I can thrust forward at that point and get in close towards that port. The sun are in front of us now, so the port is fairly dark. Using more translation to the south, that way I'm actually coming towards the port and getting myself in a proper spot. And now the station orientates itself. There we go. And we are now connected. We have another port filled on the space station. And now it's just a matter of using time acceleration to stop the rotation. And now since I have the Soyuz connected to the space station, I can rotate it and orientate it back to where it was. Just putting this on a northern trajectory. That way this four-way port will be facing north, and then the 90, the 270, and the 180, which will make our life easier, especially once we bring up the capsule next time with the probe body attached that can retract the solar panels and do all this orientating for us. So next time we will bring that up. This has been Sokka. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.